Hi folks, this is Vicki from patternprincess.com. Today I want to show you how to do the stitches for this really pretty ear warmer. I have done this in this color here, which is a Lion brand. I have another skein because I'm going to do something else with it. I'm not quite sure here yet what, but I just love the coloring. It's Lion brand yarn landscapes. And this is called Mountain Range. It's a number 4 yarn. There's 147 yards. And I'm using a size I hook, 5.5 millimeter for this. And this is just really a nice, simple beginner pattern. This is how it looks on the back. And it just so happened that as I was working this, the colors were lining up exactly as I was switching colors. It would, or rows, go into the next row, it would switch colors. So each row is a different color in this skein, but gosh, I love this color combination. And I'm going to be making another one in Casablanca. And so let me, when I get that done, I'm going to show you how to sew the ends together to create this twisted look, okay? All right, so let's get going here. Going to get your slip knot on your hook. This just happens to be how I do it, however you want to get your slip knot on. Okay, and this is a very simple repetitive pattern. It is a repeat of row 2. So we're just going to, let's chain 10, and it can be any number. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay, we got 10 chains. Now you could work into the top loop. That row 1, you could work in the top loop. However, because I want, I'll put this down a minute, because I want the first row to look just as nice as the last row. Okay, I'm going to work for this one, I'm going to work in the back bump. So we have the top loop and the bottom loop, and then if we turn it over, there's a little bump. I'm going to bring my hands up closer. Do you see there's a little bump back here? So again, you could work in this top loop if it's easier, but I'm going to do the back bump for row 1, and we're going to skip the first stitch. We're going to work in the second stitch, so I'm going to turn it over, and right here is that second stitch bump, and we're going to do a single crochet. So we're going to yarn over, bring our yarn through, and yarn over, go through the 2 loops. Insert our hook into the next back bump, draw the yarn through, and draw the yarn through 2 loops. Insert the hook in the back bump, yarn over, draw the yarn through, yarn over, and draw the yarn through 2 loops. And continue to do this all the way across. It's just a single crochet in the back bump. It's very easy. I don't always use the back bump, but gosh, there are some patterns that I think it'll just give your project a little bit more of a polished look sometimes. Okay, and then we have one more here. And if you started with 10, if you're a brand new crocheter, you may want to count your rows because you may not know exactly where to put your beginning and ending stitches. So it's always a good idea to count. So here's after row 1. Here's how nice it's looking. All right. Move that a little bit so you can see things. All right. So I'm going to turn it. Then we're going to chain 1. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work not in the front. Usually when you do a stitch, you go underneath both loops, right? Like that. But when they have a front loop and a back loop. Make sure you can see this, a front loop and a back loop. I'm going to go in the middle of the 2 loops and go underneath the back loop, yarn over, draw the yarn through, yarn over, and draw the yarn through the 2 loops. That's a back loop single crochet. And then we're going to move to the next one. Go into the back loop, yarn over, draw it through, and yarn over, go through 2 loops. Continue to work through the back loop and do a single crochet all the way across. There we go. And then this is a stitch yet. So if I ended here, you'd have this little tail hanging off, and that would be noticeable. But this is a stitch right here yet. Okay, and now that's going to be even. Here's how it looks after row 2. And row 3 is just a repeat of row 2. So we do our chain 1 and work in the back bump and do our single crochet. Not back bump, back loop, pardon me. Back loop, single crochet. And all the way across. And this is what creates the ridge. I do have another pattern that uses a ridge look. It creates a ridge look like this. It's nice ribbing because it has nice stretch. And that uses a slip stitch in the back loop. But this one's a single crochet. And you can start to see, I don't know if you can, there's the ridge that's starting right there. And it's not as noticeable on this side, but it's there. And that'll give you your ridges like this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn this yarn into a whole flat rectangle. I'm going to create my bigger ear warmer, and then I'm going to come back and I am going to show you how to join this and turn this inside out, okay? All right, I have my rectangle done. Here's how we're looking. I just love the colors on this one. Now this one didn't go row by row as far as like changing the color as the other one did, where I actually had a different color every single row. This one was it had different lengths of the color throughout the skein, but they're really pretty colors that go together nicely. So here was my beginning side, yes. Here was my beginning tail. Because I worked in that back bump, it looks really nice in that first row too, okay? And then we have the ending. This is the ending side. And I have a super long yarn piece. I keep it quite long because it's way more than what I need, of course. Because we're going to sew this. We're going to sew these two ends together now, okay? And if I'm smart, I'm going to... I'm actually going to thread my yarn needle now because I usually forget. And then I'm holding my pieces together, trying to thread this yarn. So let me get this in here. Okay, so we're going to set this aside and hopefully not pull it out. All right, so we have our piece. It's flat. Okay, we're going to just fold the ends together. But before we do that, we're going to fold this end in half, making sure we don't twist the headband. Keep it flat. And then fold this end in half. As close to as half as you can get it, like this, okay? We're going to adjust it as soon as we get it together. Okay, but this is how it's going to look. And that piece will come to the top. So we're going to smush one inside of the next. Okay, just like this. And I'm going to adjust a little bit to make sure that I have it kind of even. There's one half, there's the other half. Okay, can you see what I've done? I've created like a little C shape here and it looks like a little S shape. And now I'm ready to sew this together. I will weave this in at the end. Here is, where's my ending? Okay, here's my ending yarn is over here. So I'm actually going to turn it. So I'm not working across the screen here, so you can actually see more of what we're doing. All right. So this is my piece right here. So I'm going to start right on the outside. And at the very first pass here, I'm actually not catching this in here yet, but I will. And you'll make sure as you work back and forth that you catch all of the ends. Now I'm going to make sure I catch them all. So here's the end of the stitches. Make sure you catch all 4 layers because there's 4 layers right here. Can you see that? Because we had the one folded in half and the other one. So we got to make sure we catch all 4 layers. And I'm just going to continue to weave back and forth. All the way to the other end. Okay, and then I'm going to come back the other way. I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to come back that way and make sure that I have it nice and solid. So I'm going to quick do that, and then I'm going to weave in my yarn ends, and I'm going to show you how to flip this around, okay? I'll show you how to weave in the yarn ends too, especially if you're a beginner, all right? Okay, I've weaved in one of the yarn ends, and now this is the other short one that had to go. And all that you do is you kind of go in and out of the work, and I'm just doing the kind of top here, about 3-4 times until you have it snug. You don't pull your yarn off of your hook, which I just did. There we go. All right, and then we're just going to go back this way. Did I have that pulled snug? Yes, I did. And we just go back and forth a couple times until you can feel that it's a little bit snug, but you go every which way. Don't just go one way. You got to go back and forth, crisscross over each other. I don't know. I can tell that it's getting quite snug. So I'm going to take this and snipper. And this one is all set. This one's done too. So now we're going to have the big reveal. Okay, it doesn't look like much right now. It just looks like 2 halves. And now we're going to open it up. We've joined it on the end. And there we go. Here's a really pretty ribbed ear warmer. All set to go. And this takes less than a half a day. Less than a half a day. In fact, in one day, I happen to have made 2. So this is a little bit nicer, darker one. And then this one here is a little bit lighter and has some really pretty bright colors running through it. So I have 2 ear warmers all set to go. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I hope you take time to make one for yourself. And please remember that all of the written directions, all the free pattern information is on patternprincess.com. And thanks for watching and enjoy your crochet time. Take care.